What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel and day one of the Jimmy build. So if you watched the intro video, you know we bought a Jimmy, kind of did a walk around and showed you a bit about the vehicle. And then this is day one. We're starting, if you'll notice, it is in here crooked because I basically bought it, threw it in here, and I had an event to go to and I knew I wouldn't be able to touch this thing until I got back. So it is a new week. It is actually a Monday. We're gonna get started and we're gonna start working on this thing. So first things first, you might wonder to yourself, where do you start on something? What do you actually do after you get it home? Well, the first thing that I like to do is really assess what I have. I know we've done a walk around, we looked at stuff, but as you can see, all the stuff is still in here. The seat is kind of in here, the junk is in here, and it is filthy dirty, right? Especially, mainly the inside is really what we're kind of looking at for today. Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to clean it all out, get everything clean. And you might say to yourself, well, why would you bother doing that? You're gonna work on it. Well, it gets you familiar with the vehicle. If you're trying to kind of really clean the whole thing, you're gonna put hands on it, which is what I like to do, so you'll know where the dents are, you'll know where the rust kind of is, and you can make mental notes along the way, and then you can sweet talk to it, and tell it to treat you nice, and hopefully not take all of your time, effort, and money, because that's pretty much what these things do. So I'd like to start off with today is a neat tip to show you guys how to straighten this up and move the whole thing. Obviously we're going to use a floor jack, right? But everybody wants to put it in there and then jack it up and they want to pull on it, right? And they're like, ah, and then the handles come out. I've pulled handles off of these things, or you pull it and the jack slides, and it seems like a logical way to do it, but I'm going to show you how you can do it, especially when you start your own YouTube channel, because now that you're inspired and you want to work on stuff, try not to beat you up with the jack noises. You slide old Squeaky underneath, right? You can grab it from the diff. This works best if you can grab it, you know, from the diff, right? We need the back of this thing to go this way. You can see I got a bunch of room over here, what you would call a bunch, right? I don't have as much over here. I'd like to square it up because this thing's going to kind of live in this spot for quite a while. We have to push it back as well, but I need the back to go that way. Soaking wet, I'm like 150 pounds of pure sexy muscle, right? So I need all the help and leverage and things that I can get, and all the tips and tricks in this department, so I don't freaking kill myself. So we're just gonna use the jack. You get the wheel started going in that direction, and we're gonna pick it up until the tires are off the ground. Ooh, she a big girl, right? I'll move this thing just in case it comes off the jack, and then you just pull the handle. I'm gonna do it one-handed so you guys can see, and then you twist it, drop her down. We're almost straight. We'll do that one more time. You just watch me do it one-handed on video. Not even breaking a sweat. So that's my first tip ever on this build. The other thing I'd like to share with you guys too, so I'm gonna share stuff like that. We'll show you along as we go. I've never done a build format style thread, or I guess you'd call it. So bear with me, we're gonna get better as we go. By the end of this thing, we'll have it down, we'll have a good format and all of that. But I'm just gonna bring you the stuff. We will do some time lapses, and we're gonna make some progress. And when I run into things like that, I'm gonna pick the camera up and bring you guys along and show you stuff like that that's gonna help you in your day-to-day as well. So we'll finish scooting it over. You don't need to see, you already got the trick, you know how I'm gonna do it. And then we're gonna open this thing up, really start cleaning it out, put hands and eyeballs on it, and see exactly 100% what we're working with. Okay, first things first, what I'd like to address is kind of a safety deal. This window is tempered glass and it is no longer with us. So what I'd like to do, well, besides figure out how to open this thing, oh, that's how you roll it down. go get it, tailgate. There we go. Is I'm actually going to, I'm not going to work on the tailgate at all, but you can see the glass shards, right? We're going to be laying down, rolling around, and all that fun stuff, and the last thing I need to do is be like banging on it. Glass is coming down, and then we're rolling around and getting all scraped and cut up, because we're going to do that. We're going to break knuckles anyways. So we'll pull this panel here. I'll get the vacuum, got my little handy vac over here. We're going to vacuum it all out. We'll get that done. And then the other thing in moving it, we slid it over, we got her nice and straight. And I grabbed the steering wheel to straighten out the tires. And for whatever reason, it feels like somebody, like the steering wheel is delaminating, or that somebody spilled their Coca-Cola while they were driving this thing in like 1974 and it just stayed on the wheel, and they're like, YOLO, I don't care, and they just kept driving it like that. But all jokes aside, I don't know what it is. It's terrible though. So I don't know if we're gonna wrap something around there, but every time I have to move or touch that steering wheel, it's like this permanent black goo, and I think it's the steering wheel, like going to steering wheel heaven. So let's clean the glass out, get rid of the safety concerns. So if you have any busted windows, stuff like that, in my opinion, because if we have to get here again and we're cleaning, we're crawling around, I don't want to crawl around in glass, you know. So do your safety stuff first. Boogery, gooey steering wheels are things you have to mess with and touch second, and then we can get down to unloading and moving all the things. So let's clean some glass out. That should be awesome. So we've been at it for a little while now, and this thing had some, I think it's from what? Oh, had some wildlife. Looks like a wasp nest or something, and it plugged me up. So we've been having a little bit of issue, but I want to share this with you guys. So here's, let's try to get way down in there. Look at how beautiful this thing is, especially along the bottom. Some light over here. Look at that thing. Booyah, baby. So what you're looking for is water and debris and stuff are going to sit down in the bottom, right, because of gravity, and that's where all your rust is going to be. You can see that, you know, we have some color. She's 50 years old or whatever, 49 years old, but it's not rotted through. We don't see daylight. You can't see my hand. If I take my hand like this and I put it back here, see no hand, we're great. The other thing you want to look at is when you take this panel off, right? If this thing was bashed in, this would be up. So I can still see all the factory. I can't see behind this. My x-ray vision's not working today, but you know, you see all this stuff and it is awesome. And then, you know, I got to look down underneath again over here. And then the other thing that's cool is you just think about it like you're doing this and you have plenty of time because it's mindless mouth breathing work. And I'm looking at this going, dude, when the glass goes in place, there's a lot of surface area here, and you can see they put a factory little texture sound deadener, but we can come in, and this will be one of the touches that we can do, put just thick Dynamat, right, on the inside backside of this thing, on the backside of this panel, on this guy, and it's just going to help the overall quality of the ride and the sound in here. So one of my goals for this truck is to have it nice and quiet, and I know that's probably not fun if people are like, oh man, you're ruining it. Well, this is a specific build for a specific person. They don't want all the rowdy, they don't want all the, you know, noise. So I'd like to make it nice and quiet. And what I'm shooting for is like a factory Silverado style sound, to where you just get in and you turn it and it just goes. You can have a conversation, you can listen to stereo, or, you know, just motor on down the road. When you shut things, I don't want it tinny and rattly. So we're gonna take advantage of all these big areas like this, but again, we're looking for damage and things like that because we are in day 0, day 1, just cleaning stuff up, getting familiar with it. I wanted to see if all the internals and all the stuff for the window regulators, so they're all here, and then we would have the holder with broken shards in it. We can take this out and address that and cross that bridge when we get there. So we'll finish up with this, and then we'll move on to pulling some things out and kind of getting a look at that and cleaning it, and you guys will get to see all this stuff for the first time. Because like I said, I never had taken any of this stuff out. I crawled underneath and I think it looks pretty good, but we're really gonna know here in a few minutes how the floors and stuff inside there look. So here's a look at the California desert that was inside the tailgate. I put the panel back on. We secured it with the 3 screws that were in it, so it's nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. 3 screws out of probably 20. And then I'm just going to pull the junk out. And then I think maybe we'll loosen the seats and pull it too, because I just want to see the floors. I'll have to put it back in here for storage because I don't have a lot of, you know, places to house stuff. But maybe we could take this and turn it sideways, and we can store maybe like the seat. If we move any other things around, we'll try to keep it in the back of the truck because I'm limited on space. But instead of having it bunched up like that, maybe we can slide it all kind of in. But again, I want to pull it out. I want to clean all this up, and I want to see what we're working with. You know, it looks like there's just dust there. And I like this thing, man. I'll tell you what, I'm not an off-road guy. I have off-road buddies, and I'm the guy that goes to the drag strip, and then they always want me to go off-roading, and it is what it is. I grew up out in the dirt, and I'm good. I'd rather go fast, but this thing is growing on me, and I just got it home and just kind of messed with it a little bit. This is a really cool vehicle, man. Full convertible, 4-wheel drive. I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to really enjoy this thing. We are just getting started. I'm sure at some point I'll hate it because it's probably going to fight me and make me upset. But for now, it is killer. So let's time lapse. We'll clean all this junk kind of out. And if I find anything interesting, like wasp nests or whatever, we'll stop it and I'll show you guys. But other than that, let's get busy. All right, before I yank the seat out, I wanted to share this with you guys. Man, I am so excited. You guys have no idea, because I've never covered all the stuff that I've worked on over the years, and they always are terrible. And to see a nice vintage car like this, I rarely get a chance to put hands on nice stuff like this. I already like this thing, like I said before, and then it's just a gem, and it just keeps going. So we're gonna crawl underneath and pull the seats. But here's what else I wanted to show you guys and share with you guys, and the reason we clean stuff. So again, moving around, banging around, doing the deal. I don't want to lay on these buddies, right? So we cleaned all this stuff out, and then we'll sweep all this up. So now when I roll around taking seats out, we're not rolling around on glass. The rain went away, the sun is out, I had some lunch, we are done relaxing, we got to get back to it. I want to share another tip with you guys real quick, and I'm going to do these and think of them as I go, and this is one for you. If you notice, we are sitting in a seat in my driveway. Well, it is out of the Jimmy, and this is the tip I wanted to share with you guys. Ziploc baggies. They are cheap, they will help you keep things organized, and a year later, or 2 years, or 3 years, however long it takes you to complete your project, because it's not going to happen overnight, I'm sorry to tell you that. When you go back to start putting things together, you can either clean and reuse the hardware, you can just reuse the hardware, or you could take this to the hardware store and get the exact thread pitch and size that you need and slam that in your project that's almost done and you're trying to assemble it, right? So label it, use lots of these bags, keep everything individual. If you throw all your hardware in one bucket or basket and think you're going to come back later and be able to find all your stuff, you're not. So let me show you my yard sale that we got going on. A few key items in the truck. We're going to call this video. So, seat. This is the rear seat. It is awesome. Obviously, she needs a little upholstery, but that's that. Apparently, we've got multiple dashes and multiple, well, dash pads and then dash faces. We've got some visors. We've got the glove box. I thought this is fun. I always love finding these little gems. Tell you when to change the oil, man, you got to change it. So I believe this truck was the light blue, so I think those are probably original. This is some after stuff. And then this truck, I think that would be the dash that goes to it, because it's an AC unit. These other two are not. I believe this was factory AC. So grill's busted up, tail light, and I thought there was more of these things, but apparently it's just a truck with a shell on it is all it really is. So let me share this with you real quick. We don't have the driver's seat, but we have this seat, and it has this big old donkey lever on here with an eye bolt. It almost looks like something for like a trunk with a pin. So it allows you to pop it, fold it forward, and then somebody has access to get in. The other thing I wanted to share with you is how incredibly beautiful this truck is after we cleaned it all out. We've got an outward dent right there. It looks like maybe the differential saw a little action on the bottom of this thing, but I don't think she was beat on too bad at all. The other thing that sold me on this was the force. I worked on lots of cars over the years. Mainly, I'm the guy that people bring stuff to because they can't do it themselves or somebody else couldn't do it. They got halfway through and screwed it up. I'm the fix-it guy. I've done it, and I can do it. So typically, they don't bring me nice stuff. They bring me the junk, and then I make the junk back to stock, so it looks like I didn't even do anything to it, which is kind of depressing, but it's good, right? So the person that wanted me to do the work is happy, and then somebody else that sees the work that I did has no idea that the work was done. Metalwork is a double-edged sword. That's kind of why I quit doing that as a forte and just decided to do all of it, because then at least I could get credit where credit was due. So the inside of this thing is immaculate. If you were hoping for a floor pan install, we are not doing those on this. We may modify it depending on transmission choice, but we will figure that out as we go. Although this rocker does have some action. This video is really not about the outside of the truck yet, but this one has a little mouth and it's like, hey, change me, fix me, fix me. So we will do a full rocker install. I won't just patch this up, which one could, because the top looks good. You could just, you know, do it on the brake or put a brake on it, and I could make a piece and just cut this out and weld a piece in. But maybe we won't be lazy and do that. Maybe we'll do a full rocker install for you guys. Although everything else on this is in really good shape. So I haven't made that decision. We'll have to see when we start stripping it down, because otherwise I could just make a patch from here to there and we could call it a day and you'd never know, right? But we'll save that decision for another day. This project, I'm trying to save time because it's about getting it done. It's also about doing it right, but it will not be frame off. But we're gonna go through the steps, and I feel like an average individual that got a truck in this shape could kind of follow the recipe and get it done and end up with something, a nice clean driver that you can have fun with the family. This will be a little bit above that, but if your skill set isn't there, hopefully by the end of this series, you're gonna learn enough tips and tricks and things along the way, and I'll show you how I do it, and hopefully you can too. So we'll bring you back on the next video, and we'll keep rolling on the Blazer.